Man in the front row here, you sir.
As a foreigner, I lived in England for quite a long time, and what's worrying me since I moved to Boston 2 years ago is the integration. I work with people in places where people don't want to speak to you English. You talk to them English and they answer you in their own languages. They don't want to learn. You try to explain things and they talk to you again in their language. The kids are suffering in Boston probably with these languages because once my son, he's only 11 and he starts swearing in Russian.
It's very useful.
And as I'm a foreigner, I try to teach them the things which is in England. They're going to good schools and they're trying to study everything in the proper way. But unfortunately, there is a lot of effect and the integration, it doesn't exist. And one more thing, which is I agree with Nigel, despite I'm a foreigner.
That's all right.
No, it's the system which is of the benefits. Most of them, they come here and they start claiming on kids they don't exist.
That's right.
Most of them are learning how to claim and get benefits. And I heard some of them, they say, well, there's a lot of money in England, I'm gonna take as much as I can. I've been working all the time I've been here, and I've been doing well, and I worked hard. So I think the integration is a big problem, and the government has to address this issue to make it clear to people when they come to England.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're gonna lose the identity in the British way.
Well
and it is getting lost.
Thank you, Zephaniah. Excellent.
Be careful, my friend. It's not most of them.
No,
it could never be most of them.
Let me just say something. Let me say something.
My father is from Barbados. My mother is from Jamaica. I was born in Birmingham. When I moved into this area, I remember coming to Boston and standing by the church. And when you're a black person in Britain, you start to travel, people ask you, did you get a culture clash when you go to Jamaica? Did you kind of have a cultural experience, some kind of culture shock? Or when you go to Africa? When I came to Boston and I stood in the town centre near the church, I remember standing there and looking and seeing all these people that to me looked white, but I didn't hear any English. And I remember standing there thinking, what is this? Now, I'm not saying this negatively. I started to think about it and I started to understand about migration. I ended up making 2 television programs about it. A lot of the things that people say about the houses and the services are real myths. We've had about 3 inquiries into them. For example, 1 year, a lot of local people said crime had gone up. It had actually decreased by 2%. Right? The Pilgrim Hospital said they probably, if it wasn't for the migrants, would have probably closed their maternity ward. Imagine for Bostonians, if you had to have a baby, you had to go to, I don't know, Lincoln or Peterborough. You would then be really complaining. And, you know, when I made the film, I remember a farmer took me to one side and he said to me, Benjamin, I used to be a good old-fashioned racist. You know, he was honest to me. He said, I would never talk to black people and I would never talk to foreigners. But I tried to get local people to work on my land. And he said he couldn't. And he said he couldn't even get his own family to work on his land. And he would prefer to employ local people, but he couldn't. I understand the problem with integration. There are very few foreigners here now, very few Eastern Europeans. I'm just guessing that. On the whole, they don't get involved in the political and cultural life of the area. But let me explain something to you. When my parents came to the Caribbean, they settled in Aston and Handsworth, and they didn't go anywhere else. They didn't integrate either. It takes a bit of time for you to get confidence. It takes time for you to settle and have financial freedom and confidence to move on.
Okay. A lot of people come in on this.